I hope you've enjoyed the first few videos from the Deano story. I'm not going to keep giving you pictures of me in the car. Hopefully, if you've been following the story so far, you'll not need any more introductions from me.
Morning everyone from sunny Bulgaria. Just driving back to London helping my friends. So, as I told you yesterday, let's look at the allegation that this lady made to steal my son. Let's look at the allegation, because the police are just as much to blame as the courts, Kafkas. 10 years of life. My son is 10 years old. He's been in the same school 7 years and everything's amazing. On the very day she made the allegation was the very day that I was moving her to her new home. And I'll tell you why I was moving her to her new home. If you all seem to have forgotten, no, everyone seems to forget, we had COVID. So she was actually meant to move into her house in September 2021. But due to COVID, the people that were in that house delayed it. And it was only meant to be a month, but that month turned into 6 months. Anyway, the point is, she was then going to move in April 2022. Lovely. As you can see by the text messages she sent me, on the 12th of April, she texted me to say the house is ready. So she texted me, the house is ready. As soon as I got that text, I rang the owners of that house, our friends, as I've mentioned before. I said, well, that's good news that the house is ready, because I can take all the stuff that's been in storage and put it in the house. No problem, Mark. Wonderful. So, on the 14th, me and two friends went and emptied all the stuff that's been in storage from her other house. And it's got 2 transits full of gear. So, on the 15th, the day my son was stolen, I'm waiting for a phone call from her to say what time. I didn't get it, so I ring her up. All right. So I'll make my way over about 10:30. Lads are there all ready to go, no problem. Lovely. Little did I know that driving over there, she has rung the police. She had already rung the police with me simply driving over there to start moving the stuff out of my apartment into the house with the lads in the 2-van. I turn up, and as I've said before, hiya, open the door. Once I was in my apartment, cup of tea, kettle on and everything else. Now, let me tell you about the door. So I turned up. I knock on the door, as I've done 15,000 times before. Although it's my apartment, her and Boyce are in my son, so I don't just bar through the door, you knock. There was no answer. Now, she knows I'm coming, and that was concerning, so I knock again. I shout, hello, hello, as if they can't hear me. Now, as like normal, if no one's in, I just use my front door key. And that's exactly what I did. I walk in the house, you all right, lovely? Sorry, didn't hear you, that's all right, no problem, blah, blah. She puts the kettle on. 5 minutes later, 2 old Bill walk into my apartment. I've got no idea why they're there. I'm like, all right. Yeah, no problem. We just had a phone call. Now, what you won't understand about police, if you've never had them involved, is what police do is they just want to negify any position. So what's happened is, I've gone, all right, what are you doing here? They said, all right, what they first of all do is they split you. So they take me to one room, and they keep her in another room. And they do that because she's rung them. I've got no idea. I'm like, why are you here? And like I said, I walked downstairs because I didn't actually want police in front of my son. He's never seen police, ever. So I walked downstairs, cop follows me. He goes, look, we've had a phone call. I said, who from? He said, lady upstairs. And I said, what, my son's mother? He went, yeah. I said, what about? He said, I don't know yet. So he went upstairs, and then him and a lady come down. So there's now 2 officers, and she said, right, we're going to have to arrest you because there's been an allegation made that you smashed through the door. I said, what are you talking about, smashed through a door? I've just come here to move my son and his mother. Who's made that allegation? She said, the mother. I said, what? Me? She went, yeah. I said, but the door is perfect. If you walk back upstairs, the door is immaculate. I opened it with my front door key. Don't worry about that. We're just going to arrest you, take you away. The allegation's been made. So I'm then arrested and taken away. Now, what's happened there is all that happened is they basically take me away, and she now can just flee to Worcester. Now, people say, why does she want to go to Worcester? Let me tell you why. Her mother died 2.5 years ago, and her father has been living in that home ever since. He died in March 2022, and she never told me. And the reason she never told me is that she must have made the decision once that house was empty that she's now got an empty house in Worcester, surrounded by her family, and she would inherit their money. So she simply didn't need me anymore. After spending 1.8 million on her and 150 grand on school fees, she decided to do it like that. Have me arrested and flee, rather than simply have the conversation, I'm thinking of moving to Worcester. That's all she had to do. But this is what's worse. The police arrested me, but then, all right, if there's no damage to the door, nothing like that, then how did they pursue the charge? I'll tell you why. Because the police got a witness. Oh yeah, the police got a witness. A witness. So they pushed it through the CPS, got a witness. Well, how can there be a witness to something that never happened? And do you know what? It was the police's own witness that helped me be found not guilty in court. And let me explain why. When I went to criminal court a year later, I'm still in disbelief that the mother of my son is doing this. Worse, the police have got a witness. But when I turned up in court, guess what? The lady that's made that application didn't even turn up in court. She's made an application into court to say she's too scared to arrive. The courts, of course, accept that. And so she was there on video, as was the police's witness. But the problem with the police these days is they never do the detail. They just want to arrest geezers and daddies. And let me tell you what happened. In court, when cross-examined by the man that I have to have, because I'm not allowed to cross-examine my son's mother, so he's employed for you. This is what he said to the guy. Hi there, did you hear Mr. Dean turn up? Well, I didn't hear him turn up, no. Okay, because they come in the downstairs door, okay. Did you hear him knocking on the door of his apartment? Yeah. Good. Did you hear him shouting the names from the hallway? Yeah. Did you hear them talking in the apartment downstairs? Yeah. Good. Was there anything that stood out as normal? No. I said to the police, I heard him banging on the door 3 times, and then I heard them talking downstairs like I've done for 9 years. My man then says, so at what point did you hear the door go through? He said, what door? He said, Mr. Dean is being charged with smashing through the door. This door has a deadlock and a normal lock. So you've mentioned hearing him shout the names. You've mentioned hearing him discussion. So if he smashed through the door, you must have heard the door. He said, no, I never heard a door. So the police's own witness confirmed my story. And if you then add the pictures of the door I provided. So when I was released from the cells, in my brain, once I knew this allegation had been made, I had to get a picture of that door. I took 24 pictures of that door. 24 pictures of that door to prove there wasn't 1 millimetre of damage to that door. And you know what annoys me slightly? All the police had to do when they turned up to that apartment was look at the door. But to make everyone's life easy, they just arrest me in front of my son. And then when they release me, I say, where do I go then? They said, no, you can go back to your apartment because your son and mother have found alternative accommodation. Like it wasn't planned. I said, don't tell me Worcester. And I knew from that second this was a serious issue. Now, based on that one allegation, I've never heard, seen or spoken to my son since, because 6 months after that allegation, when the non-molestation order was issued, she then made new applications that she's been living 10 years of domestic abuse and 10 years of control and coercion. And when you look at the reasons she's given, it's just insulting to a man. So the police are just as bad and is to blame for the reason a beautiful daddy hasn't seen or heard from his son for 2 years. Worse, no one has ever known my son. My family have never heard from him again. What? One allegation false. And that's still the reason to this day I've never seen my son. It's disgusting.
If you like Deano stories and you want more, and you've got stories of your own that you want told, get in contact and we can sort something out.